Hey y'all, welcome back, welcome back. Thank you guys for tuning in. It is your girl Covine. I know it's been a minute, but I'm here. Good morning. It is a beautiful day. It is the last Friday in July. This month has flew by. I am here today. As you guys see, I have this poster board. It says, "Let's Talk Trauma." And I know I said in my last video that I was going to do another video. My next video would be talking about my haters. But I decided, instead of giving the devil any more unnecessary conversation, I would instead focus on something that is much more important. And that is the topic of trauma. And so this is a very important topic because so many people are suffering silently, and I wanted to give a little more background information on exactly what trauma is, how it affects people, the earliest ages that it can affect people, and you know, this will be the first of many other segments in regards to talking about trauma. There's many different stages of trauma, and there's many different effects of trauma. And so I hope that you guys will enjoy. The wind is blowing off some of my letters, but I hope you guys will enjoy the information that I have to give. I'm gonna go ahead and take it off of my poster board because the wind is blowing off the letters. But I wanted to focus on trauma because I myself suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and that is another segment of trauma-filled life, a trauma-filled life, and residue of trauma. And so that'll be for another segment or another video, more details about post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD for short. But if you're interested about exactly what trauma is and what the effects of it are, we can go into our wonderful friend Google. And you know, I don't have a dictionary, so I can't pull up the dictionary exact definition of what trauma is, but Google says that trauma is any detrimental experience that happens to someone in their life. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, back again. So trauma is a deeply distressing or disturbing experience. So it could be a personal trauma like the death of a child, a physical injury. It's an emotional response to a terrible event like an accident, rape, or a natural disaster. Immediately after the event, and denial, shock are typical. So immediately after the event, shock and denial are typical. Longer term reactions include unpredictable emotions, flashbacks, strained relationships, and even physical symptoms like headaches or nausea. There are 3 types of trauma. These are acute trauma results from a single incident. Chronic trauma is repeated and prolonged, such as domestic violence or abuse. And the third is complex trauma, which is exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events, often of an invasive interpersonal nature. So these are very deep situations that happen to people, and they can suffer in many different ways in regards to these 3 different forms of trauma. So the three main types are acute, chronic, or complex. Again, acute, chronic, or complex. Acute trauma results from a single incident. Chronic trauma is repeated and prolonged, such as domestic violence or abuse. And complex trauma is exposure to varied and multiple traumatic events, often of an invasive interpersonal nature. Signs of trauma could be symptoms of psychological, such as shock, denial, or disbelief, confusion, difficulty concentrating, anger, irritability, mood swings, anxiety and fear, guilt, shame, self-blame, withdrawing from others, feeling sad and hopeless, or feeling disconnected and numb. I questioned what is the earliest a person can experience trauma, and even babies and toddlers can experience trauma as a result of whatever their parents may have been going through, or because they may have went through something themselves. So we can experience trauma at really any age, but early childhood trauma generally refers to the traumatic experiences that occurs to a child between the ages of 0 to 6. So if you think about that, that's pretty significant for somebody that young to go through those type of experiences, or those type of different stages, as I explained, the acute, the complex, or the chronic, at such an early age, and then to go through the rest of their young adulthood and adulthood with unresolved issues, or these traumatic experiences that they went through, suffering in silence, and formulating other relationships with people throughout their lives, and wondering why they're not able to keep these relationships, or wondering why they have all these different whatever may be going on in their life with these different individuals, whether it's healthy or not, unhealthy relationships, why they constantly have unhealthy relationships. As for me, I've experienced several different types of trauma. I've had several different types of trauma. I've experienced rape, I've experienced physical abuse, domestic abuse, later in my adulthood with various men, physical abuse from my own mother. So, I've had a pretty tumultuous life and growing up, so a lot of my residue is, self-inflicted, and things that were not of my helping. So to me, this is a very, very special topic and very personal topic, and I feel like it should be addressed much more than people do. I saw today, and I wanted to share one of my plants that I got about a year ago, and it made me think about this very topic that I'm talking about, because when I found this plant, it was at a house that had been pretty much emptied and getting ready for sale or whatever. People had moved out and they had left some plants there, and I'm a plant lover. As you see, I have a plant behind me, and I have plants kind of everywhere. That's one of my things that I'm able to find joy and some type of relaxation in. And when I find myself anxious or overly upset, it's a way to it's very therapeutic for me. So I found this plant, and it was practically dead, right? And the analogy that I'm about to use is that trauma can leave you dead on the inside, right? Because if you don't get counseling, or you don't seek any type of therapy or help or healing for yourself in regards to the trauma that you may have experienced in your life, it can leave you empty and dead on the inside. And healing is the only, and God is the only thing that can be able to put that life and that joy and that strength back into you. And sometimes you have to be able to find a way to pour that back into your own self if you don't have an outside support system, a good, healthy support system. to be able to help you to pour it back into you. So I found this plant, and it was pretty much discarded, and I was like, man, this is a beautiful plant. I should take it and try to here it is, my cactus plant. This beautiful cactus plant, right? So I've had it for almost a year's time. As you see, I have a whole bunch of beautiful plants here. I love plants. This plant was practically dead, right? I'm gonna show you the dead parts. So you see how this plant here was pretty much dead. And that's what I'm saying that trauma will do to you. Trauma will leave you dead on the inside if you don't seek help and treatment and therapy and find a way to heal yourself from the traumatic experiences that leave you feeling so dead and empty on the inside. Just like my lovely cactus plant here, that because I thought enough of it and I saw the beauty of it, I saw the beauty of this plant, and I saw that it was worth something. It was still able to be alive, and it could still be fruitful. So even though it was dead, it's still dead on one side. I've had it for about a year, but I've taken the time to pour the love and some care and some healing back into it, that I've been able to grow 2 new nodules back into it. And that's what God does for us. If we allow him to come in and fill those empty parts, those dead parts inside of us. And my video is bad, but I'm trying to show you how I was able. And this one is practically dead too, but this one has some little babies coming back in because I've been taking time to water it and talk to it and speak life into it and tell them that even though it was hurt and bruised and left, it still has something beautiful that it can offer. And you see that I grew this back, this part right here from this dead cactus plant came back alive, but not because I've been watering it. 2 whole sides. There. This one, I brought that back. 1 and 2. As you can see, it was fully dead. But because I've taken the time to water and speak life back into it, I made 2 new plants back into it. And even at the top, the very top, I have a new one coming in here. I have a new one coming in there. And this one is starting to come back in. 1 here and 1 here, because I've been watering it and I've been giving it love. And that's what we have to do with ourselves. We have to water ourselves, and we have to speak life into ourselves. And that's what God does. He comes in and he fills up those empty, dead parts. So when trauma does that to us, it fills us, it leaves us dead, just like that, my cactus plant. Dead on one side, but life and little green on the other side. It just needs some TLC, and it needed somebody to see the goodness inside of it. It needed somebody to see that it was worthy. It needed somebody to see that even though it was broken and bruised, it was still worth having and loving. And it just equated to me about, that's what trauma does. That's how trauma leaves us. It leaves us feeling dead and numb and so empty on the inside. But God, though, for real. And this video probably is not as great as it should be as any of my other ones, but the analogy of that plant that I just showed you, and what I'm saying right now was so real. And I'm hoping that somebody will be able to hear what I'm saying about that. Trauma is very real, and more people should talk more about it, and we need to find more ways to help each other. Let's talk trauma. We need to help each other figure out how to pour life, how to speak life back into ourselves when we are so broken and dead, just like my cactus plant over here that is now so beautiful and still flourishing, because somebody, me, took the time, even though it has taken a whole year for those few little pieces to come and to grow. It's taken a whole year. Sometimes it takes even longer when you, depending on what type of trauma you may have experienced, it takes even longer for yourself and your mind and your body to get over certain things. And there's no timeline on how long you're supposed to heal. You take as much time as you need to take. But the important thing is that you need to know that you're worthy. You need to know that those dead parts can come back alive. Those dead parts are not physically dead. They just need to be reborn. They need to be tended to. You need to get your gardening gear in effect, whatever that may be, and start working and tending your garden, tending to your business, the business of healing, the business of loving yourself, the business of working on your star player, you, the inside, the mind, the heart, the body, the soul. Those are the things that matter. People don't matter, friends don't matter, nothing matters but the person that has experienced the loss and needs to get back to finding the joy and happiness that once was a part of you. I can speak from experience because I lost so much of that, and I'm still a work in progress. But I'm hoping that as I share more of these type of videos and we talk more about these type of different traumatic experiences, that it will not only help someone else, but it will also continue to help me myself as well. And just like I'm pouring into my plants, this will help me pour into myself to help me heal, because I need to be honest and show what trauma really looks like. And trauma is not pretty. Trauma is a very, very ugly, hard thing to look at. It's very difficult. It's a long, arduous, gruesome journey. But it's worth it. You're worth it. I'm worth it. We're all worth it if we want to do the work. And the work is never easy. Nothing worth having, nothing worth working for is easy. But the glory is to the one up above. Like these angels of mine over here. Y'all see my angels? Y'all see my angels? I stay with the spirituality and the religion. Because without that, you won't be grounded, and it'll be hard for you to find your focus and it'll be hard for you to find your potential and the worthiness that's in you. And the glory is always to God. So this is going to be a kind of quick video this time, but I'm hoping that the message that I was trying to convey came across. I'm sure that this was probably jumbled and my pictures wasn't all that great, but it's okay. For the most part, the message is that trauma is real. We need to focus on the fact of pouring more into ourselves. Self-care is the best care. And at the end of the day, haters don't matter. You know, work doesn't matter. You want to be able to say that you healed the broken parts in you that nobody knows about, the silent tear that you cry, you know what I'm saying, when everybody else is going away, and friends are gone, parents are gone, siblings are gone, and it's just you in the midnight hour laying on your pillow staring up in the darkness with your thoughts. You know, are they healthy thoughts? Are they productive thoughts? Or are they thoughts riding back up of scars that you never healed or you never resolved? Something to think about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Constructioneers, I'm still a work in progress. I know you guys are too. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified from any other further videos that I post. And again, thanks for tuning in. Till the next time, continue being great, continue being you, and continue being loving. Peace.